This is the 250 media availability for Samford student athletes. The 13th seeded Bulldogs will be facing number 4 seed Kansas in the final game of tomorrow's opening day of the NCAA tournament. And with that, we will turn the time over to you here for questions for the student athletes. I'll start with you for a second.
John Kuhn, Associated Press. This question's for Rylan. Coming back to Utah, you obviously played high school ball here, had a stint with Utah and Utah State. What are your feelings just being able to not only come back here and play in the NCAA tournament, but to do so having had a fully healthy season where you've been able to contribute to your team in the way you probably hoped and envisioned?
You know, it's kind of a dream come true to come back and play here a couple more times in Salt Lake City. Obviously, it's home, and it's just a feeling that's it's kind of a full circle moment, honestly. You know, played 4 years in the state of Utah, probably played 95 college games here, and I wouldn't, you know, trade those times for anything. But going to, you know, Birmingham, Samford, been the best decision I've ever made. Loved every second of it, and for me to come back here and be able to play in the hometown with, you know, these guys, my brothers and my teammates, it's a surreal feeling that I really can't describe, and I'm just happy and, you know, thankful to be here.
Tony Jones from The Athletic. Two-part question, Rylan. Did you ever really come close to, like, not playing ever again, especially after, you know, what you kind of went through injury-wise at Utah State? And, you know, what were your initial thoughts and feelings when you saw Samford pop up on the screen to head to Salt Lake City?
Yeah, no, I knew I was playing again. I had obviously last year Utah State was tough. You know, we made the NCAA tournament, but I did not get to compete. And, you know, that was a lifelong goal of mine, was to play in the NCAA tournament. And so, no, I knew I was playing basketball again. Was not at Utah State, but, you know, after being cleared by multiple neurologists and doctors, I was going to play basketball again. And I'm just happy that Samford came calling. I've loved every second of it. My teammates, my coaches, everything about Samford is amazing. It's a great place. And when, you know, seeing your name pop up on Selection Sunday is one of the coolest feelings you can feel, I think, especially when, you know, you have to win your conference tournament to get there. And, you know, the hard work and everything we've done to get there it all paid off for that second. And then just an added bonus was it was in Salt Lake City, and I get to come home and see all my, you know, family and friends. I know it wasn't the best destination for my boys right here, but I was happy to see it. I think they want to be in Brooklyn or, you know, somewhere else. But it's been, you know, I couldn't have asked for anything else, and I'm just cherishing every second of it. Just happy to be here.
Alex Vehar with the Salt Lake Tribune. Rylan, this question is also for you. How much of a, I mean, quote unquote, culture shock was it to leave Utah and go to Alabama? And like, what was the adjustment period like? How did you handle any homesickness, if you had any?
No, I mean, the people of Birmingham and you know, my teammates especially. I mean, I was on a visit to Samford, and these two guys were right here at dinner with me, and I felt right at home right away. I mean, Jermaine, you know, he made me feel like one of his brothers right then. I had a great time with him at dinner and at shore as well. And, you know, we went to Topgolf. I felt right at home. You know, there was no culture shock, nothing. It was just, you know, great people. Birmingham's a great place. Yeah, no homesickness. You know, I'm old. I'm 23 years old. I've been in Utah my whole life. It was super cool to experience a new area, a new part of the, you know, country. Samford, Birmingham has been great.
Hi, Carter Williams, KSL.com. This one is not for you, Rylan.
Yeah.
This is for your teammates.
Here, these are the guys that get us here.
Well, I'm curious, your experience of playing in altitude, have you at least taught everyone else around you what it's like to play in this conditions? And what have you guys done this week to kind of adjust to those?
Yeah, altitude, I mean, we're a well-conditioned team. You know, the way we play makes for us to have to be well-conditioned. And altitude, yeah, you know, it'll be a little bit of shock. That's why we got up here, you know, 2 days early. Practice yesterday, practice today. You know, we'll get used to it. But, you know, it's all about toughness and heart, and that's what we're made of. So I don't really think it'll be that big a factor to the guys in our locker room.
Oh, wait, let's have Jermaine and Achor also answer that question, please. Thank you.
Yeah, this is actually my first time here in Utah, so I'm not sure what to expect. I just been hearing stuff. They've been make sure that we here practicing, make sure we get our wind up, because I know it will be different, but I'm not sure what to expect. I just know we just got to go out there and do what we do, play hard, and give it all we got.
Just a lot of hydration days before, to be honest. That's one thing they mentioned. A lot of hydration days before was one key. One thing we try to key on a lot.
Ronald, this question, Joe Goodman, AL.com. This question might not mean anything to you, but what was it like here as a kid, you know, as a young basketball player during the time of Jimmer's run at BYU?
Yeah, obviously he was a special player. I was usually cheering against him, but I loved watching him play. And, you know, Jimmer Mania that year, he had an unbelievable run. He was an unbelievable player. And, you know, that's what, you know, everybody sees, you know, and remembers those runs. And that's what kids growing up dreaming about. Is playing in the NCAA tournament and making a run like Jimmer. And so, yeah, it's just dream come true, you know, you see your name in, you know, and playing in the NCAA tournament, you know, have a chance to make a run. Yeah.
Okay, we'll have back in the back there.
Ryan Hennessy, NBC 13 in Birmingham. For all three of you, I've talked to all you individually, but it seems like every story is about Bucky McMillan believing in you and telling you this was the dream and it happened. Let's start with Jermaine. I mean, it was a longer goal here at Samford for you. Tell me about that. And can you guys kind of explain Bucky's dream that turned into reality to be here today?
Yeah, see, so I was at Akron, Ohio for COVID year and really wasn't playing that much. And once I entered my name in the transfer portal, Coach Bucky was one of the first coaches to reach out to me. And everything that we done this year, he told me that he was going to do, and we did it. He told me we were going to cut down nets. He told me we was going to be a team that go dancing. And just to see all the things that he told me came true without us seeing a blueprint, because nobody ever heard of Samford being a team that they talked about in March Madness. And I'm just grateful to do it with these guys right here. I mean, I have unbelievable teammates. I mean, one of the best PGs in the country. Always trying to find us, get us open shots, always throwing loss or a chore. I mean, this man down here is a dog. I mean, I would love to go to battle any day of the week with this man on my team. And so I'm just happy to be here. I'm just happy to be coached by a great coaching staff, and I'm just enjoying the moment.
We'll have Achor and Rylan also answer that.
I want to say, like, not a lot of people really believe in my life, in me, throughout my life. And, like, Bucky is one of few. And off rip, I felt like he believed in me when he got in a little 2-passenger plane. Not a lot of people in my recruiting process, you know, went to that length of extents. And when he seen he did that, and then even last year when I wasn't playing a lot, he still believed in me. He was just, you know, keep at it. And, you know, months later, look at us now, you know what I'm saying? Came true.
Yeah, everything Bucky said has come to fruition this year. And, you know, his belief in us allows us to be confident and, you know, play at our best when we go out there. And I just want to touch on, like, what Jermaine said. I mean, Jermaine right here, he's the hardest playing dude in the country. You know, like you said, go to battle with us. I'll go to battle with him any day, anytime, in anything, not just basketball. Anything that involves competing or heart. I mean, he's the toughest, meanest, most fierce competitor I know. And when he's on your team, you love him. And when he's not on your team, like those days in practice, when he's not on your team, you absolutely hate him. But that's why he is the player he is, and that's, you know, a big piece in why Samford has made the jump they have made in the last 3 years. A lot because of this man right here and his just determination and he won't lose. He doesn't lose. And then same here right here at Shore. I didn't get to see him last year, but the strides that I've heard that he has made comes from a lot of it belief in Bucky, Coach Bucky, believing in him. But he's also, you know, he's in the gym every night at 11:30. He's the hardest worker I know. He loves the basketball game. He's contagious. Everybody loves playing with him. You want him on your team in practice too. I mean, these two going at each other in practice, it's no fun. It's no fun, but it's fun to watch. And, you know, without these two guys, Samford, you know, they're the heart and soul. They make our program go, and the belief that Bucky has in us has allowed them and allowed us to be where we are today. So it's just, you know, starts with Coach Bucky and the belief in us, but then these two leading and, you know, showing just their hard work, competitiveness, everything in practice. That's where it starts, and we just follow suit, and they make the game easy for us.
David Lawrence with Jayhawk Radio. Achor, talk about the improvement that you've had this season. You said you didn't play a lot last year, and now you got one of the best lines in college basketball, and all your weapons, shooting the three, et cetera. And then also the matchup you have with a 7'2" guy in Hunter Dickinson, the give or take with a guy that's a lot bigger, but perhaps you got more outside game.
Honestly, I played behind a really good Logan guy last year, and me obviously not playing, I'm a competitor. I took it personal, honestly, and I just took it on a mission this whole summer, just to work every day in and out with Coach Ned, working in, day out, honestly. And in terms of matchup, it's basketball. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter you 7'5", 7'3", 6'2". You know, at the end of the day, you got to step between the lines. You feel me? That's how I look at that.
This question's for all three of you guys. I mean, I don't think it's any secret that it's been 24 years since Samford has been in the NCAA tournament. You guys are playing Kansas, which has like a storied history, and there are a couple people out in the media, at least, who are picking you guys to upset. How are you guys kind of mentality-wise kind of coming into this game? Like, are you thinking like upset?
No, we don't. Well, I know me personally, I know the way these guys think. We don't think that anybody better than us. We feel like every time we're on the court, we supposed to win. And I don't feel like it's an upset. I feel like we're going to win, and when we win, it's not going to be a surprise to us. It might be a surprise to all the brackets that are going to be messed up, but it definitely won't be a surprise to us.
I feel like what you put in is what you get out. And we put in a lot of work, a lot of work for months. So us winning this game, no matter win or lose, I know we're going to ball out hard as we can. And that's what really matters, to be honest.
They answered it exactly how I would answer it.
Okay, I have time for a couple more questions. We'll go with you first, and then Jake.
Jordan Gusky, Topeka Capital Journal. For all three of you, Bill Self said the other day that Kevin McCullough's not going to play for Kansas. Do you have any reaction to that, and does that change anything for you all as you prepare for the game tomorrow?
No.
I actually kind of like sad and like disappointed that he's not playing. One, I want to say I hope he get healthy, but two, I also want to play Kansas at their strength. I don't want to play Kansas when they got guys out. I want to play the opponent at their best because I know we're at our best and I know what we can do at our best. So I'm kind of like disappointed that he isn't playing actually.
Yeah, they answered it exactly how I'd answer it.
Jake.
Rylan, Jake Hatch from the KSL Sports Zone here in Salt Lake City. We had your dad on radio this morning, and he made a quip about you saving him $10,000 in terms of the travel. What was just your family's reaction when they found out you were playing here in Salt Lake City?
Kind of, that surreal just emotion of just, get to play here again. My mom made countless trips to Birmingham. She was almost at every one of our home games. My dad made it out to a couple, my girlfriend, my grandparents. I had 15, 16 people out there in Asheville from Utah. And for me, yeah, obviously it saved me a lot of money. But it also is just, not just my, close family get to come watch me and play again in person, but all my Olympus family, my Logan High family, just the, whole Utah community that I grew up in here for 22 years. Just that they can, have tickets and come watch, get to watch me play again in person is just extremely lucky. I'm just happy that I get to be here and happy that I get to, play with my brothers right here where I'm from. Took them to one of my favorite restaurants last night. We went to Crown Burger on Highland Drive. We had to introduce them to, Big Mike's restaurant. But yeah, no, it's just I'm extremely lucky. I'm extremely happy, and my whole family's happy that we get to play here.
Okay, one final question right here.
Could you each describe for Jayhawk fans that have not seen your action, your style of play? Is it called buckyball? Is it running threes, forcing turnovers? Just your description, if you would.
Yes, we press full game. We shoot a lot of threes, layups, try to get to the foul line. But that's just like the stuff that you guys see. But you also see like how hard we play. We play with so much heart and passion and grit, and we do all the stuff that don't really show up on the stat sheet, like diving on the floor for a loose ball and doing all like the intangible that you don't see that often. And we just play so hard and we play for one another. And I feel like that's what kind of make us special and kind of make what bucketball is doing is so special.
Yeah, exactly what Jermaine said. You know, a lot of buckyball is the intangible stuff and just how hard and tough and how deep. And, you know, we'll play 11 guys and there's no let off. All 11 of us could start, play 30 minutes. And we all just, a lot of it is togetherness and the unselfishness that we have. You know, we'll be out, some of us maybe be out there for 1 or 2 minutes at a time, but we're going to give it all we got for that, 1 or 2 minutes, denying, diving on the floor, boxing out, moving the ball. You know, if you're open, make a three. And it's just all the little stuff and just how hard, determination, grit that we'll play with and no fight. Like, we'll fight and there's no give up in us.
Buckyball, to me, honestly, we're going to create chaos, going to make the other team uncomfortable because no one really practiced getting pressed the whole game, never. And then this is like, play hard, you know what I'm saying? Really attract me. It's really, really attract me. If you can, not a lot of people in the country condition like us, to be honest. And I don't think a lot of people are equipped to run with us the whole game.
Okay, thank you to our student athletes. They are now excused, and we'll have Coach McMillan on here shortly. Thank you.
I can keep this?
Can we keep these?
Not today.
Thank y'all.
Come back with these.
I'd like to welcome Coach McMillan to the dais now. We'll have him give us an opening statement, and we'll open up questions for the coach.
Thanks for covering. Glad to be here. Looking forward to tomorrow. Ready to roll.
John Kuhn, Associated Press. Having a point guard like Rylan Jones, and just he is coming back here playing in front of his hometown fans, family, friends, and everything. Had played a lot of basketball here in the state of Utah. What was it like just getting him into your program, and what impact has he had on your team this year, just having him there on the court, leading your offense and defense?
I mean, tremendous. We got him late, May 30th, I believe. Had him on a visit, talked to him coming on a red-eye flight. Him and Jonesy, his dad, everybody knows Jonesy out here. And his mom, we had a great visit. I know we had a lot of great options. And so glad we got him. I mean, just such a leader on the floor. He can do it all. And, I mean, obviously he has some great stats. But I don't think you can even measure his intangibles. And just everybody knows that, his heart is in the right spot, man. He just is all about our team doing well, and his heart's team first. And so when you got a leader like that, everybody's going to kind of fall in line. So I've been around a lot of point guards. I played that position. I'm hard on that position. And, half the time in a timeout, I'll pull him aside and ask him what he wants to run here. Just a true coach on the floor who sees it and has been a joy to coach.
Bucky, JoeGoodmanAL.com. How do you think the new interpretation of the offensive charge call is going to affect the NCAA tournament?
Man, I tell you, I don't even know if there's discretion a lot of times with the charge call anymore. It's just like they're not going to call a charge. Sometimes they'll just tell you, like, we're not calling a charge. So, and I mean, it's just, it's different, that's for sure. But I'll say this, it's been somewhat consistent all year long. I mean, I saw someone call a charge in, like, our last game of the season. I was like, I forgot that call even existed, How does it affect teams? Probably affects teams that are more athletic. It's probably an advantage for them, because if I'm going to call charges, then it's more challenging. But by this time of year, everybody should know the deal, and everybody should be used to it.
When you learned that Kevin McCullough wasn't going to be able to go for Kansas, I guess, does that change anything for you, and were you surprised that Kevin's not going to be able to go?
We prepared like everybody was playing, Does it change much? It doesn't change much with the plan. I mean, obviously, Kansas is going to have good players no matter who they put in the game. And, you know, we've had guys out all season and have had a great season. So I know that they wouldn't be as good as they've been without having perseverance and without having other good players that can step in there. But I do know that you know, you lose a player. You don't just lose a good player, but it can shorten your bench slightly. You know what I'm saying? And but other than that, you know, they're going to be same Kansas, be a good team and a good match.
Back in the back.
Bucky Ryan, Hennessy, WVTM, NBC 13 in Birmingham. We were talking to your team, and they were saying they love the style of play that you guys have. I know Kansas has some of the best players in the country, but you have a unique style of players. Can you explain to us what you look for in a player and what your team's made up of?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of our guys, besides these freshmen, they didn't have Division I scholarship offers coming out of high school. A lot of them didn't. You know, I know Ryland did. Our freshmen that are here now obviously do because we're Division I. And but most of these guys didn't have Division I offers. And so we have a unique team with players that probably at some point coming out were told they weren't good enough. And they're coached by a coach that never coached college basketball before he took this job. So our bus is a unique bus and is filled with players that aren't going to have any entitlement. And so when you're asking what I look for in players, I look for players that aren't entitled, that play extremely hard, that play unselfish, and that when you have that and you play with the chip on your shoulder, you're going to see guys that play like they got something to prove and they play with a lot of confidence. And, you know, it's hard for me to coach players that aren't that way. I do think we have a team in a day and age of portal and NIL and me. I do think we have a team that's a throwback team that I see they play for the right reasons. They play for each other, and they're not looking to the next step right now. You know, this is it for these guys. They're looking at this step and being together in this moment.
Coach Alex Vejar with the Salt Lake Tribune. You know, the Samford program hasn't reached the tournament for, I think, since 2000, right? 24 years. How important would winning tomorrow be to this program, and the win would be perceived as an upset?
Well, anytime you can win, it's always big for the program. The further you go in the season, it seems like the bigger it is, obviously. Mainly, you know, I just want to win so these guys can keep having another game. You know, I have not since I've been in college. I've coached high school ball for years. I mean, I had some fun teams I really enjoyed coaching. And since I've been in college, I've never wanted a team to continue to win more than I've wanted it for this team. I just really want it for them, you know, to play well and have the opportunity to keep playing more games. And I tell you, for coaches, that's really kind of rare. Sometimes you get to this point in the season, it's like, I got to live with these guys another day. You know what I'm saying? And as this team, it's like, you know, I never wanted to end with these guys. They're just a joy. I don't know, you get to see some of their personalities. I was in the back. But just a bunch of dudes who, you know, they just fit each other. They're a bunch of fun. And but for Samford, it's always big to be on this spotlight. But this, you know, this ain't gonna be the last time we're in this spotlight. Like, we're gonna be in this tournament on a more consistent basis than we've been the past 25 years. And hopefully it's tomorrow we win, but we will make a run in this tournament, right? We're gonna win games in this tournament. You know, you don't know the crystal ball. Will it be this year? Will it be the next year? You don't know. But you know, we're gonna be here. And if it's this year, great. If it's down the road, great. But the more further you can get deep in March, the more you're in that national spotlight, the more people get to learn about our program and the more people get to learn about our university. And I think our university is one of the best kept secrets in the world. People in the Southeast know about it, but not everybody across the world knows about Samford and all the unique things that go on at that place.
Back in the back.
Brendan Quinn with The Athletic. Why don't you think more teams go all out press? And what does it take to believe in an outlier system?
Well, I would say my roots of coaching, I started off coaching when I was 15 years old, coaching over the mountain basketball in Birmingham. Then when I was 16 and 17 years old, I was coaching AAU basketball. Then I was coaching 1700 basketball. Then I coached JV basketball. And then I coached varsity basketball. And then I got a crack at this job. So everything that I wanted to experiment with, I got to do it in some back gym with 3 or 4 people watching. You know what I'm saying? a lot of times people in this spot get their first D1 job after being assistant for years, and everybody's watching. And they're going to do what? Oh, they're going to trap every missed shot? Well, if it doesn't work, they're like, hey, you're the only one doing that. Like, what are you doing? And so I think our system, or the way that we play, was kind of just modified through the years. And I was fortunate enough to be a head coach and do a lot of things through trial and error. And, Rick Pitino, a very good coach, says, everything he learned in coaching was learning from his mistakes. I got to do a lot of trial and error and learn from a lot of mistakes. Now, you ask why they don't do it at this level. I think pressing and playing fast, I think you got to coach your personality. You have to. You're a risk taker, you're not, but you got to coach your personality. I would never be great just sitting in a 2-3 zone the whole game. Jim Boeheim's shown that he can win national championships doing that. I couldn't even do it with the same players because they would say I don't believe in that. That doesn't match my personality. So I think a lot is personality. There's no one way of doing it. I'm not saying our system's better than somebody else's or theirs isn't, but I do know for me this is the best because I'm comfortable doing it.
Okay, we'll check with our the two individuals that are joining us through Zoom. If they have a question for Coach, please use the raise hand button on your Zoom window if you have any questions for Coach. Okay, do we have any more questions for Coach here in the room? Okay, back to the back.
You talked about the how you're able to kind of share the message of Samford and have everyone discover the school and all that. And when you hear some of the conversations out there about tournament expansion and access to the tournament for lower, low majors, mid majors, whatever, maybe being even squeezed tighter, what's your reaction to that? And how can this event be a tool for a place like your school?
Well, you hear that athletics can be the front porch to a university. We've all heard that, and I think that's very true. There's people out here in California and Utah that don't know anything about Samford, but they're going to watch our team play, and they're going to see a team that plays with tremendous courage, tremendous heart, and they're going to say, what is Samford? They're going to look it up, and they're going to look on there. They're going to find a school of excellence, academic excellence, athletic excellence, a place of faith. And you ask, what happens when you get away from this March Madness? What makes March Madness unique is the Cinderella stories. And you kind of look at this year was the first year that the conference winners didn't get to participate in the NIT necessarily. And, to each their own, but you see a lot of the high majors turning the NIT invitation down. And when you start squeezing what makes this unique, because in America, let's be real, you have your upper percentage, then everybody else is an underdog. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else is an underdog to get to the top. And that's why they can identify with underdog teams, because most people are that team. And if you take that out, this ain't America, right? And so they identify with underdogs. So the more teams that we can have in this tournament that are those mid-majors, Cinderellas, I think the better.
Okay, one final question right there.
Hi, Bucky, to your right. Vahe Gregorian, Kansas City Star. Two questions, if I might. One is along the lines of what you're talking about now. Does it present more of an opportunity to have a school with such a name as Kansas in this situation when you're talking about the very things you're talking about with a school so well known and such a reputation over so many years?
Well, obviously they're a very good program. I'm assuming more people tune in, right? Than compared to if we were playing maybe a lesser unknown seed, and it goes right in hand with kind of the quote underdog Cinderella opportunity. So that's what this tournament is, right? It is what it is, and that's why I think some of the the best memories we have in this tournament are memories that started with that Cinderella and continued. Like, we're never going to forget the Butler runs, the St. Peter's runs, right? VCU, all right? George Mason's. Like, in some of those games, in those clips, that's edged in people's minds forever. And I'll be real with you. I coached college basketball, but before that, I wouldn't know what George Mason was, right? And I'm guarantee if you started looking at those schools and you started looking at the number of applicants and stuff that brings recognition to those universities, it's special.
And just the follow-up is, do you know Bill Self at all? And if not, or in what ways do you see his influence or understand his achievements in the game. How do you see him?
Who? No, I coached some very good high school players that was recruited by everybody across the country. Coach Self, I don't think he recruited some of my guys. That's some that went on, played in the NBA or whatnot. But look, to all the coaches that came before me, I'm so respectful of all of them for paving the way to get the game to this point. And a lot of people, when they got in the business, a lot of people get in the business now because there's tremendous financial incentives in the business. But some of those that started years ago, that wasn't the case. And they made this game what it was and paved the way literally for all of us to be sitting here because it's such a big deal now. And so more than anything about being a good coach, I just respect what he's done to help advance the game to where it is today.
Okay, Coach, thank you very much. Appreciate your time and good luck tomorrow.
Thank y'all for covering. Can I keep?
Okay, Kansas will follow at 3:35 with the student athletes.